It's a real honor to be part of something like this, a night of inspiration and women, two of my basically favorite things. Watching that video always makes me a little emotional, reminds me that time is passing. Two of those boys have left our nest. They have gone on to college. A lot of things have changed. That video was actually made about 5 years ago. The boys have grown up. Our business has grown up a bit as well. But some of the things haven't changed. And the reason that I wanted to share that video tonight was, in case you've never been to Mod, gives you a chance to go inside the four walls of actually our second location, which is only a couple of blocks from here, Bellevue Way. And when you go in, or in the video, you can see a little bit of the energy that we hope you find when you go into a Mod Pizza. And the other reason that we like to share that video is we mention that we are building this business by focusing on people. And it's really true. Today, it's even more true. We are a people-focused, purpose-led business. Scott and I started Mod about 10 years ago. And as our Chief Purpose Officer, I get to talk to you tonight a little bit about the thing that we hold most near and dear to our heart. And that's our purpose. So to do that, I need to go back in time, kind of far away, to the streets of London. And believe it or not, there was a time when, if you were on the streets of London, you could not get a Starbucks cup of coffee. You could actually not get anything that even resembled a Starbucks cup of coffee. And I would know because I spent 3 years looking, desperately. 1991 is when I moved there, and honestly, it got quite desperate. Called Starbucks, begged them, please come to the UK. And they said that they were going to go international, but Japan first, so we were out of luck. But we were so desperate, and we realized after 3 years that if we wanted our cup of coffee, we were going to have to create it. So we did. And in 1995, we opened the first Seattle coffee company, and within, there it is, there it's back. Within about 3 years, we had 65 Seattle coffee companies throughout the UK, and we had a couple of international partners too, in the Middle East and in South Africa. And then Starbucks decided that they did want to come to the UK. And in fact, they wanted to use the UK as their launching pad for their European business. And to do that, they needed to work with us. So in 1998, 3 years after we opened our first Seattle Coffee Company, Starbucks acquired Seattle Coffee Company. And it was great. And we were able to work with Starbucks to transition all of our coffee outlets into Starbucks. And the best part of the story, one of the best parts of the story, was that through our work with Starbucks, we were able to meet an extraordinary human being. That's Howard Behar. Yeah. A lot of people, you know him, a lot of people say that Starbucks was created by H2O. That's Howard Schultz, Howard Behar, and Orrin Smith. Howard Behar, at the time when Starbucks bought us, he was actually president of their entire international business. So we got to work with him quite closely. And he very quickly became a mentor and an advisor to me and Scott, both personally and professionally. And we're lucky because he continues to play that role in our life today. It was Howard Behar that really helped us understand this notion of servant leadership. He is the ultimate servant leader. His entire life, he is focused on trying to enrich the lives of the people around him. And he helped us really see and learn more about the ability of a leader to really focus on taking care of his or her people. When you're trying to build something, when you're trying to inspire people, if you truly take care of them, the culture that can develop is just so caring and strong and special. Howard did that for us. And I think it's fair to say that if there had been no Seattle Coffee Company and no mentor like a Howard Behar, there would probably not be Mod. But there is Mod. Now we're back. Jump 10 years forward, get off the streets of London, get on back to the streets of Seattle. We were definitely not looking for another entrepreneurial venture. But we found that we kept looking for something that did not exist. We had a carload of hungry boys and their friends, and we were driving all over town trying to find just a quick, affordable, fun, craveable, easy, cool spot just to grab a bite. We wanted to find some place that our kids would be psyched about and some place that we wanted to go to. And the options were just so far and few between. In this space of fast casual, which is right in between full-service restaurants and fast food, really the only gig in town was Chipotle, and they were burritos. But nobody had created any sort of fast casual pizza. We learned from Seattle Coffee Company that if something doesn't exist, it might not mean that it's a bad idea. It might just mean that nobody has taken the time to create it. So we got to work. We opened the first mod, 2008, downtown Seattle, and it was really a laboratory for us. We had so much to learn, because if you think about it, to create a new category, we had nothing to look at, to copy. We had to figure it out, and it really took mod 1, mod 2, mod 3, mod 4, but we did figure it out. And ultimately, we can say now that the birth of mod really resulted in this new category of fast casual pizza. And we have been growing like crazy in the last 10 years, and so have a lot of other people. There are lots of fast casual pizza brands out there right now. But we have about 325, just a few over 325 mods around the country, and we're building a business in the UK as well. We've been ranked, I think, the fastest growing restaurant concept in America for the last couple of years. Yay! And we're on track to keep growing. We have another 100 sites that will be opening this year. So the what and the how, our pizza and our growth, we're very excited about, and we're really pretty encouraged right now. But it's the why of mod that we are most interested in and that we care the most about. You might be surprised to know that the why is not pizza. When we were building this business, we spent a lot of time thinking back to Seattle Coffee Company and what it was that was most rewarding and most meaningful and most joyful for us from that entire experience. Had very little to do with financial and monetary stuff. It had everything to do with the people that we worked with, and most specifically, the lives that we were able to impact with the business that we built. So we decided that if we were going to build mod, it needed to be a platform from which we could positively impact as many people as possible. We also had a selfish motivation. We wanted to create a meaningful legacy that our boys would be proud of. And more important than that, it needed to be something that they could learn from. We wanted them to really understand how rewarding and important it is to be of service and to give back. Our great pizza, our great salads have become a front for mod's bigger purpose. Mod exists to serve people, and this is our why. At the heart of what we do is this idea of being of service and trying to make our impacts. We actually call it spreading modness. And we've created a definition. Spreading modness is the ripple effect of simply doing the right thing. In big ways and sometimes little ways. We have organized modness, and we also have little random acts of modness. And all of our modness tends to come through our employing and our feeding. These are really our two core competencies. Every time we open a mod, we employ about 30 people. What you might not know is many of the people that we employ are impact hires. Somebody that had a barrier to employment. Could be they needed a second chance. Could be they have intellectual or developmental disabilities. Perhaps they're one of the over 5.5 million at-risk youth under age 24, people that are not in school, they do not have a job, but they really need a job. Where we can create job opportunities for people that are deserving and needing of one, we really love to do that. We also love to feed people, which is sort of obvious. We have a lot of customers and we're really grateful for them. We love feeding them. We particularly love feeding our employees, our Mod Squad. We have over 6,500 Mod Squatters around the country, and when they come to work, they get a free meal. And for many of them, it might be their best meal of the day. We're really proud of that, and it's something that is incredibly important to us. We also try to magnify our impact when we can or when there's a need. An example I'll give you, childhood hunger. I don't even know what the statistics are right now, but I know they're not good. I think last time I checked, it was 1 in 5 kids goes to school or to bed hungry, which is devastating. We're trying to do what we can to help. We raised some money through our pizza sales, and this year we will be creating just over 500,000 meals for hungry kids. And the meals are not pizza. These meals are beans and rice. They go into a meal packet that can be placed in a hungry kid's backpack on a Friday so that they can go home and have nourishment over the weekend. We really like crafting partnerships with great organizations where we can magnify our impact, especially if there's a big need. We call this organized modness, and we'll keep doing that as much as we can. To serve is really at the heart of what we're trying to do at Mod. And if you wonder what keeps Mod's heart beating, it is the Mod Squad, all 6,500 plus and growing of them. These people that have joined the Mod movement and are finding ways to use the platform of our business to positively impact their lives and in their communities. Scott and I believe that our job is really to serve them. And at our support center, everybody is working so hard to really build and solidify this platform we've created, because we understand that if we can take care of our Mod Squad, and then they can become inspired and hopefully empowered to go out there and make some positive impacts. That's our version of servant leadership. It's the way it's meant to work at Mod. It's what we really believe in. There is something I wasn't going to share with you tonight, but I think I will. When we talk about trying to protect this purpose and all of the people that have joined Mod, we are always looking for ways to do it. We're kind of obsessed with this. The number one way that we protect and perpetuate Mod's purpose is with stories. And when we share our stories, which we've been doing since the beginning, from store one, if somebody would join Mod, we would tell them a little story about how somebody's life had been impacted by Mod, and they understood pretty quickly the culture of this place that they had joined. And we then saw that what they started to do was they wanted to make impacts of their own. That's the ripple effect. Bless you. And even today, 10 years later, we still focus on these stories. And the thing I wanted to share with you is something we just have. Every year we get our whole group together. It's the meeting of the Mods, and we just had our annual meeting of the Mods a couple of weeks ago. And it's a really big deal. We bring in the leaders from all around the country, all of our general managers, our field team, our support center. And on the main day, when all 700 of us were in the room, we spent a lot of time sharing our stories, that were inspiring and sometimes sort of astonishing, of ways in which we knew that Mod was being used to impact and change a life. And what started to happen when these stories are shared is you feel like you're actually feeding that ripple effect, and more people are wanting to make their impacts, and the acts of spreading Modness just start to roll. And we gave everybody a call to action, which comes in the form of a poem that's one of our favorites by Mary Oliver. It's her instructions for living a life, and that's something I wanted to share with you before I get to my final quote. She says that instructions for living a life are really just to pay attention, be astonished, and then tell about it. Which is actually why I'm standing up here right now, because it's really scary and it's really hard to be on a stage and talk to people. But in the spirit of wanting to walk our talk, and it's so important for us now at Mod, we know what happens when we share stories and how much inspiration we get when we hear stories and sometimes when we share them. I've been totally inspired tonight by the people that have been sharing. So we wanted to do that. It's really important to us. I think we'd all agree that We are living in a really crazy world right now, and there is so much to be worried about. But we're choosing to remain optimistic, and we are going to keep using what we've got any way we can to make positive impacts. For now, it's pizza. And now I will leave you with the final quote that we do use all the time, every time we're frustrated, every time we're overwhelmed and worried. We're reminded what Maya Angelou tells us, to astonish a mean world with your acts of kindness. Thank you.